How do we set the time for the aeration blowers to run? We need to provide enough oxygen for the microbes, but too much air blows out the heat. Hopefully the compost system designer has provided adequate capacity to maintain optimal oxygen and temperature. The microbial oxygen demand is the primary driver in setting our timers. The oxygen demand is dependent on the availability of carbon in our compost. Here's a lesson from a recent compost facility operator course. I teach that we need to understand who the microbes are, what these microbes need to thrive, and then provide them what they need. We learn to measure moisture content. We learn to measure air-filled porosity. We learn that the optimal microbes for composting thrive at oxygen concentrations greater than 15%. We learn that microbial activity increases logarithmically with temperature, and we begin to lose microbial diversity above 65 Celsius. We made 4 mixes, and we placed them each on an air pipe. Moisture content and air-filled porosity was ideal in all mixes. We set the timers to 5 minutes on and 30 minutes off. 24 hours later, pile 4 had a temperature of 38 degrees Celsius. Pretty good perhaps, given that it's biosolids and wood chips. Is it on the way up? But when we looked at the temperature trend, the temperature was actually decreasing. Perhaps too much air? Were we blowing out the heat? Pile 1, on the other hand, had a temperature above 65 Celsius. It was a blend of biosolids and yard waste, a lot of grass clippings. Do we increase the blower time, or do we decrease it? It's hard to know after just 24 hours. Here's where measuring oxygen is helpful. Pile 4 had an oxygen concentration of 20%, confirming that we were aerating too much and blowing out the heat. We decreased the time to 1 minute and 30, and then we could see the temperature go up. Pile 1, on the other hand, had an oxygen concentration of 1%, suggesting that we may need to increase the aeration rate to provide enough oxygen for the microbes. The amount of oxygen in the pile depends on when the blower was last running. Oxygen content drops dramatically after the blower turns off, especially in mixes with a lot of available carbon. Based on this, it's best to measure oxygen just after the blower stops running. Setting the timers is mostly about the availability of carbon. We know that biosolids have less available energy than grass clippings. Understanding the potential oxygen demand and carbon availability of various feedstocks is helpful. We expect that as the compost process progresses, the oxygen demand decreases and the aeration rate can be reduced. We recommend measuring oxygen weekly to verify optimal aeration unless the mix changes substantially. Next video will be about timer and temperature feedback using a new automated system. My name is John Paul. I'm a soil scientist and waste management specialist. Thank you.